States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's why I brought him.
Roll call, Councilperson Sandy Slutton.
Here.
Councilperson Jeff Posthumus. Absent. Councilperson David Viss. Here. Councilperson Linda Viss.
Here.
Here, David Crusoe.
Here.
Thank you.
Do the approval of the agenda. There are a few corrections on the agenda we have to make. State of decorum, that's what I have to do for that. No outbursts will be tolerated. If this meeting shows people can control themselves, there will be public forum in December. Got to the approval of the agenda. There are a couple corrections that have to be made.
The 19/6/25 council meeting, that's the wrong date. They're not 19 months in a year.
We know that.
That's,
We know that.
that's one of the corrections we're gonna make.
I just wanted to verify, excuse me.
Yeah.
That should probably read 10/6.
No, it's actually 9/6
Okay,
typo, and then also on the third page.
Third page is, on the heater hookup down in the utility building, it's supposed to be $985, and Jim and Judith is $2,400. Approval of the corrected agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion been made, seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
all day.
Motion made, made and carried. Approval of the minutes for 9/5/9/6/25 council meeting. We do all three of them or just at the same
Well,
time?
No, because 9/6, there was a proposed correction, so we'll have to go through that.
Proposed correction for 9/6, has that been satisfied?
Nope, well, yeah, thing I don't know. So there was a proposal at last month's meeting in October to correct the September meeting minutes from Councilmember Sandy Slutton, saying that she had never received the litigation hold notice and wanted the meeting minutes corrected so it didn't indicate that she was lying. In checking through the closed door session that was in back with Lisa DeRad about her suspension, Sandy personally brought up the litigation hold notice that she received by email, and she quoted what it was about, to the council back there.
I had read that, I had received that information from Lisa.
Well, that's not what you said during the meeting, so if you'll let me finish, you can respond. You said that you were under no obligation to answer it and weren't going to be answering it, and that you did say that you got it.
Oh, I said I received the information, I didn't
Okay,
tell you
I'll-
how I received it.
I'll play the audio recording for you later. I'm not ready to
Whatever,
hold the
whatever,
meeting.
you're not gonna believe me no matter what, so just never mind, forget it. But
My
the,
recommendation to the council, based on all of that, that the meeting minutes from September not be corrected because they stand as correct. But I believe you still have to do a motion to accept them as they are, so it's in the record.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's been,
I'll second it.
motion been made and seconded to accept the council meetings from September 6th, 25. All approved?
Aye.
no,
Naked, all say nay.
nay,
Motion was made and carried to accept the meetings for them. 10/10, special meeting. Minutes.
1010 was your word, oh. 1010 was simply the resignation of the former clerk treasurer. And read out loud at this meeting. And this was from Larry Manier. I want to begin by reminding everyone that I accepted the position as the interim clerk, not full-time. I offered my services until a new clerk could be appointed. By the way, during the short tenure, not one city resident stepped up and applied. Not even the folks that are quite vocal that they seem to know what's best for the town. My resignation is not due to the current administration with one exception. In my opinion, councilperson Sandy Sletton thrives on theatrics by minimizing the efforts of those attempting to work on fixing the town. This, coupled with the sophomoric behavior of a few regular meeting attendees, has created what I now call a toxic work environment. My predecessor has this town running handcuffed and blindfolded for weeks, but there seems to be no outrage there. Before formally submitting my resignation, I have two questions. One is rhetorical and one is a professional favor. The favor is that my resignation be read and entered into the record by the city clerk at this and the next general meeting of the city council. The rhetorical question is in two parts, geared more towards the older residents, like councilperson Sandy Sletton, who has been serving the town for 30 years. Thank you, Sandy, for your service to Twin Lakes. Why was this town allowed to die, and what are you, the public, going to do to resurrect it? Unlike my predecessor, I will make myself available to the mayor and clerk to facilitate a smooth and efficient transition. At this time, I ask the mayor, acting on behalf of the council and the city of Twin Lakes, to accept my resignation as the clerk treasurer, effective that afternoon, Friday, October 10th, 2025. There was a motion second, and that did pass.
Okay.
The other part of that meeting was choosing a new interim city clerk treasurer. And I was asked by Jeff Priestholt if I would take it. And after some heated discussion, it came to a motion. And I said I would accept it on an interim basis, but I felt it was only fair to do an interim basis to run through January 1st or the first January meeting, to give time not only to work out some kinks and show what I can or can't do, but also give the city and the residents a chance to evaluate that. And as you read the motion to accept me that passed, that's how it was read as well. You need a motion to accept that as meeting minutes.
We don't need a motion on that. We already had one.
You need a motion to accept that as.
We need a motion to accept the minutes from the 10-10 special meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the special meeting minutes from 10-10. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion's been made and carried. All right, to accept the special meeting minutes. 10-20 work study discussion.
So the
The minutes from that.
The minutes for the work study are at each table along with tonight's agenda. And the work study, we couldn't formally have a work study because we did not have a quorum. So the state, we contacted them right away. Actually, we contacted them before the meeting, they didn't get back to us sometime. After the meeting, they said without a quorum, it can't be a work study meeting, and to just have it as a roundtable open discussion, which it pretty much was, with some public input, and to type the meetings and make sure that they went out to each council member, which they did, but they're included tonight as well, because I don't know procedurally if we have to accept them as meeting minutes, because it wasn't a quorum, but we did have to publicly post them, so we did that tonight.
Don't we have to accept them?
I don't think so, because there wasn't a quorum and it's not considered a meeting. It was a
Oh, okay.
roundtable
Okay.
discussion.
Guest officials.
Are we gonna, never mind.
That's the next one.
No, actually, we have to talk about tonight's meeting minutes that aren't here from last month. The October meeting minutes that aren't here, we have to discuss that.
Do we have October minutes?
We do not have October minutes printed yet, due to a comedy of things that aren't very funny. One of them is the printer is malfunctioning, and we have called the company twice now about it, and they haven't come back out here. I've done some printing from home, but, second part of the meeting minutes is a little bit more personal, but I'll take I'll take the blame for them not being done and presented to you yet. I've suffered a family tragedy in the death of a 10-day-old daughter recently, and my last 2 days have been lots of calls with pathology about that, and they're not done. The only thing I can do, they can't get accepted obviously tonight, but I can make them available to all council by email in the next couple days, and I'm going to take a list of people that would like them emailed to them. I will caution you that they're unapproved meeting minutes, and the League of Minnesota Cities and our attorney said that we're not doing unapproved meeting minutes because they're not approved, they're not official, and people take them to heart and misquote them. However, under these circumstances, they said it would be fitting to go ahead and forward them.
So anybody that wants a copy of the minutes, will have a sign-up sheet before you leave, sign it, and we'll give the minute, copies of the minutes to you. So we start it right now, and how about we start and just pass it around?
And if you could print, just so I make sure I can read your email.
Okay, now it's yes official.
Yes.
She's gonna do that in the fire department.
Janelle, are you introducing your guests and guest officials or under fire department?
Fire department?
Okay. Nikki here? Words?
Reports, County Commissioner Nikki Ekstrom, not present. Any others? The clerk report, non-bill payments, delinquencies, PDRs, correspondence, and so forth.
Yeah, I have to start out with just saying that, reiterating the ADA statement,
What is ADA?
American Disability Act.
I just have a, could you please quit using abbreviations and spell everything out, because a lot of people don't know what your abbreviations are.
I will try and do that.
Okay,
The American Disability Act is part of what I was here as a consultant under for both the hearing and sight of the mayor. It's called a reasonable accommodation. But in the last couple of weeks of going through a lot of the recordings and looking at things and trying to get meeting minutes and answer public data requests, it's become really evident that the recorded copies of everything hears a lot more than what anyone up here might hear. So I'm just gonna remind you all that deliberate derogatory comments about people with disabilities can get you in a lot of hot water. And some of your comments are recorded, and now that I'm hearing there's some big documentary going on about Twin Lakes, if those people choose to take those recordings that everybody has and put them together, they're gonna be a little bit embarrassing. So I'm just asking you, as a professional courtesy, as a human being, to not try to make fun of people's disabilities and call them derogatory names about them. Rest of my report, I spent several emails and phone calls with a former resident and property owner upset that their title company was withholding $1,500 from her sale proceeds. It turns out that somebody in the city, those are her words, told her and her title company to be leery of buying the property because there was an assessment for curb gutter and sidewalk repairs.
I've been listening to a criminal for 15 minutes.
You wanna address that?
There was never an assessment against that proposed
Not that. I'm asking if you wanna assess, readdress this
I wanna
comment.
readdress, you wanna say
Cause
that
I
again?
will.
I believe that was stated as a proposed assessment, from what I.
Okay, so I'd like to address the comment in the room about listening to a criminal for 15 minutes. You wanna go there, Dale?
If it's the truth, it's the truth.
Well, a speeding ticket's a crime, right?
Yeah,
Good.
I never had one.
The title company was holding $1,500. Yes, I do agree with Sandy. It was discussed and it was rejected, and it was said that the city would pay for the repairs. But again, it cost her a lot of grievance about back and forth with the title company for weeks. It is solved, but I'm just saying, you know, I don't know if it's from an official or not, she didn't name anybody, but that's what she said. Just be
You don't know
careful.
you don't know who did it?
She
Or you're
said
not
it was,
saying?
no, she did not identify, she said a city
I'm
official.
asking you or the mayor, you do not know who put that proposed assessment on her tax statement. Do either of you
Nobody
know
knows.
who did it?
I'll back up, cause there is no proposed assessment on her tax
That's
statement.
the way it was explained to me by her,
Well, I have a copy of everything from her
Okay.
title company,
alright?
and it wasn't. The only thing in there was that there was a discussion about an assessment, and therefore they were warned about buying it.
Who was involved in the discussion? Do you know?
No, I don't, they didn't identify who. The sheriff's bill, there's an outstanding sheriff's bill for having uniformed police officers here. At one of the last meetings, I believe it was the September meeting.
That's been paid?
No, it has not been paid.
I wrote a check, it's been paid.
Thank you for clarifying that. Public data progress, there are several public data requests in progress. Some of them have to do a time compilation estimate, because by law I have to tell people what it's gonna cost to fulfill something that takes a lot of research, so I have to send them that, estimate that, and then they have to decide if they want it in the format that they had requested. I will tell you this, there are over 20 public data requests now in just the past month and a half. 90% of them are from one residence, and at least 60% of those are requests for information that was publicly discussed at a meeting where they were present.
Well, then it shouldn't be that hard to give them that information again.
Shouldn't be required to give them that information
Well-
again, but it is what it is.
If it's in the minutes, it's public data.
So, again, if they fill out the request forms completely and correctly, that would be a help. I'm just sharing with you as your clerk, at $22 an hour, if we wanna ask for a public data request for one sentence or one line on something that you were at a meeting at, you're the taxpayers, I'll answer every one, cause I'm required to by law. But when my timesheet comes in, don't be surprised. Several of them are extremely excessive in length and in what they're asking for, and they're not all public data.
Can I ask a question? Where's this public data request form?
I believe I have some with me here. If I don't, I can walk over and get them because they are printed
Oh,
at the
okay,
office.
so
if
you just
anybody
get them at
requests
the
them.
office.
And you can also get them emailed to you.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, if you have retained an attorney about public data requests, it is improper to ask the city to respond directly to another public data request without working through your attorney. We've communicated this to the League of Minnesota Cities and our attorney, and if you have an attorney representing you in public data requests with the city of Twin Lakes, I will not be responding to any more data requests unless we get mail from your attorney saying he has withdrawn from that. Otherwise, everything has to go to that attorney, and then they can forward it to you. That's just the way it is, so that we don't get the city in trouble. We've also had some media inquiries going around about a petition to dissolve or disband the city of Twin Lakes. I've been called by local media about it. I believe the mayor's been contacted by residents. Has to do with also, I understand, some letters that are going around town. And I just think it's time, the mayor originally didn't wanna respond to those because they were anonymous and truthfully tried to focus on other things as quoted in the media. But I think now that there's 3 or 4 of those letters, the city probably needs to formally respond to them, especially because there's a lot of inaccurate things in there. And it refers to the official meeting minutes, but the official meeting minutes confirm that there's a lot of inaccurate information. So just something for council to be aware of and discuss and see how you wanna handle that. Also, we need council authorization to request a copy of the complete file from the League of Minnesota Cities. Their file is 407230, because it had been deleted from our electronic and physical records here. There is no physical copy to be kept here.
What is that?
That is the lawsuit between Keith Haskell and the city on the public data request. And required by law to be retained here.
Please,
There's three more that have nothing to do with me, so. But you need,
please, no outbursts.
Explain that again, please.
surely, the physical and electronic file containing all the documents related to the former lawsuit, which has now been dismissed, are not present in the building. By law, we have to keep them 6 years. So, to request them from the league's attorney, there has to be a letter from the city council that they would like those here and why. Any other questions on that? Okay, so that'll eventually,
Well, I think we should send a letter and
Yes.
get them. Cause I certainly would like to read them all.
I'd like you to. So we probably need a motion before we keep going, so that we keep.
I make a motion that we submit a letter to the league for,
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to send a letter to the LMC to request all the printing on
Physical and
40730.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is made and carried to send the letter to the LMC to get them documents.
Next up is the bowling meeting that was canceled. And they're not coming back. The president of Bowling Engineer wrote a certified mail to us on October 24th that he's not interested in working with the city. I spent 45 minutes with the president and owner of the company on the phone, and he said it is because of the dissension amongst the city as to what needs to be fixed or why, which is kinda awkward, cause we don't know what any recommendations were. But he also said that calls to the media and then calls from the media blaming them for the water quality were what really pushed him over the edge and made him decide that Bolig Engineering had no interest in working with Twin Lakes.
how did the media even know that Bowen was here?
Well, whoever called the media to do their interview and story on water quality here mentioned Bolig and that they were the engineers. So we are now searching for a new engineer firm to come over and, what's that?
I have made
That's fine.
inquiries to KLM and another one, and KLM advised me that they had a man, Joshua, that name that long, I can't remember, can't say it. He's supposed to call me back and he never has. So I'll look at that again tomorrow and see if I can get a hold of him.
Lost my place, give me a second. Resolution publications are complete to date for 2025. There were 8 of them published on the 15th. They were-
Excuse me, I was under the impression that resolutions do not need to be published. Ordinances and amendments to ordinances do need to be published, but resolutions, the explanation I was given by the league was that ordinances are considered law. Resolutions are policies that can be changed at any point in time without a public hearing, can be amended or rejected at any point in time without public hearings. Resolutions are something that do not need to be published in the newspaper. That's what I was told.
However, the council voted to publish all the resolutions, and now that's done.
That's a big
And
expense.
they were actually published in the summary, so they were $20 to $40 max, as opposed to other resolutions that have been published that cost up to $200.
When was that vote taken to publish resolutions?
It's actually been taken twice in the last 4 months.
Can you tell me when exactly?
If I
What
go back
minutes
into,
it's in?
if I go back into the meeting minutes, I sure will.
That I would
Give
like
me
to
a
know.
second so I can write that down in my notes, and I'll give that to you.
And I think that decision needs to be revisited, because that's a lot of money that the city doesn't need to spend.
The Microsoft updates, we're working with the Microsoft legal team in connection with law enforcement and the Microsoft data protection teams, and we are close, very close, they said, to recovering all the cloud information that we've been locked out of. And they feel they may even be able to restore deleted files that were on the cloud, and possibly even some of the emails through Microsoft. So I'm hoping that that's done in the next week. It's cumbersome because every single time they call, they need like 11 different varieties of proving who you are and what you're calling about, et cetera. Even though they may have hung up an hour ago, you have to go through it all the time and say. Water billing. There's a big conflict, as everybody knows, between this quarterly increase of $2.50 per service, both water and sewer every quarter. Some people are saying they're well aware of it, and they've proven that they've been paying an increase quarterly. Other people are saying they have not and they don't want to. It is beyond my authority or power to say which is which. I will just say that I have very clearly demonstrated in books to the mayor that some people are being billed different rates, some people are being billed the rates.
It is stated in the December meeting, which I would like these minutes to be amended, that water and sewer is billed quarterly. This has the 2022 rates, so that we don't have to do this every single year just to raise the water and sewer. We built in that effective each new year. The invoice prepared in April for quarter one will include an annual increase of $2.50 for water and $2.50 for sewer. Now, the words per quarter and per quarter need to be omitted because it was a typo. I have clarified that with the city clerk. It has always been an annual increase done once a year, $2.50 for water and $2.50 for sewer. If you were being billed $2.50 every quarter, the city probably owes you a refund.
Except we have one resident that has shown invoices from 2024 where she was getting quarterly increases every
Well,
quarter in 2024.
They should have brought it to the council's attention.
Well, I'm not
It
arguing
was-
that at all.
It has been since as far back as I can remember, that it was an annual increase. The increase went into effect with the first quarter bill that people received in April. So, if they were being billed for the, I believe, I'm not questioning if they were or were not, but this needs to be amended, the per quarter needs to be removed from the meeting minutes, and it's an annual increase of $2.50 per water and $2.50 per sewer, once a year.
I can't amend approved minutes unless there's something.
I make a motion, we
Unless
amend
there's
the
something-
December meeting minutes.
Finish.
What,
December 24th is what she said.
December 2024 meeting.
Because.
I
to
wasn't
amend
here in
them-
January, so I couldn't catch it.
Right, but to amend them without having a recording,
Well, they've been recorded, the recordings are somewhere back there, they were all
On the
recorded, I
cloud.
mean, these minutes are what, 18 pages long? You can see why there might have been a typo here and there.
Sandy, I'm trying to answer you.
And I'm telling you that it's an annual increase, not a per quarter increase. And I
I
think
don't
there's
have the
people here
recording.
that were on the council and some city clerks that can verify that.
Then what about the ones that show quarterly invoices?
Well, then the city
Bring up
probably owes
in
them a refund.
2024 that had quarterly
Well, then
increases.
they should have had one increase in 2024 on the April billing. If they had an increase for the other 3 quarters, the city owes them a refund.
And how do you propose a refund in a motion then?
If
What
they
are
were,
you,
if
what are
they
you
can
moving?
prove, if they can prove, bring their copies of their bills in and prove that they were charged an additional $5 on their bill per quarter, then the city will issue them a refund for each quarter that it went up, other than the April bill.
Are you saying a credit or a cash refund? I'm
Whichever
asking-
they prefer.
It's your motion, I'm trying to be
If they
clear.
want, if
Don't
they
you
wanna,
have some kind of records back there, who paid what?
Some, but a lot of them are on the cloud still. That's why our
well,
water
they should have
billing
been
was so
keeping
messed
their
up.
paper copies. I have paper copies for back 7 years.
Okay.
So if they want a cash refund, give them a cash refund, issue them a check. If they want a credit on the next month's billing, then give them a credit. But whichever they prefer. Or we decide which way you're gonna do it, a cash refund or a credit. which would be easier.
Should we look into that and at the next January or December's meeting?
I think we need to,
Well,
I
you
think
have-
these minutes need to be amended
You
tonight.
have you can't amend a meeting minute just because they're already signed without getting the recording and listening to it. How can you do that? That's just you saying
We all
that.
have to, we have to,
I believe there's several witnesses here that will verify that.
Were you on council in 24?
Yeah.
Were you? Okay.
They were annual increases, correct?
Yeah,
Annual, once a year. See, there you go.
that's all I've ever paid in 25 years. is
One time a
annual.
year, $5 increase.
Yep.
Yep.
Just state it once more in a motion, so you write it down correctly.
I make a motion that we amend the December 2024 minutes to show that the annual, that the increase of $2.50 for water and $2.50 for sewer is an annual increase which appears on the April billing once a year.
I'll second that.
Hang on. It's not that you can't. I just wanted to say all of it, so it's.
And that-
In the motion, and then a
and that
refund be
if
issued, correct?
People can prove, bring in their paper statements and prove that they were increased to $5, $2.50 and $2.50, $5 each quarter, that the city give them a refund,
Now it's ready for the second.
a refund.
Okay, I'll second that.
motion has been made and seconded to correct, December minutes, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried to amend them 2024 December.
That should probably be noted in the next newsletter, that anybody that feels they have a credit, coming needs to support their, with documentation.
The only other thing I have in the quick report is that we did get the title for the new fire truck came in today.
Is that titled in the city's name?
It sure is. It's in the city of Twin Lakes and it has a lien holder as discussed, being the Fire Relief Association, in case the fire department were ever to disband. And that is how it was proposed in the resolution.
Continuing on to the maintenance department.
The tractor repairs become cumbersome for the John Deere. It is $10,000 for the ongoing with lack of maintenance. Kansas and Iowa just isn't interested or doesn't have time, they told us. So we're kinda in limbo about that. City truck was serviced, way overdue on oil change, had all 4 shocks leaking, 3 or 4 were broken, service grease, low filter change because he couldn't blow it out.
Which truck is this?
City.
White pickup?
Yes.
That should have been specified in their pickup. The city owns several trucks.
True. Generally, like, with the annual maintenance, so it doesn't turn into a John Deere tractor situation, it should be in our 2026 budget, and it says we'll need tires come springtime, they said. That was one of the shirts, what they said. Okay, Minnesota Rural Water was here to request, we have discussed changing our flushing process to include positive results, which we have started, but again, it is important that all water-related complaints come through the city hall so they can be logged and tracked. Additionally, all residents with water heaters, water filters, and/or water softeners should be completely draining, flushing, and recycling all of them at least 2 times a year right now. And should note that the highest period of time frame of smelly or discolored water will occur within 24 hours of flushing hydrants, which will at least 2 times a month, and hopefully on a more regular scheduled period from here on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month.
Shouldn't flushing the hydrants bring more chlorine into the system?
It should.
Why isn't it? Why then, if after you flush it, is the water smelling?
Because of the high concentration of ammonia, they said. It's eating
But
up
there's
all
never
the-
been a problem previous back year,
I can't help
previous,
it. They're saying the well's going.
if we had a competent employee to do the hydrant flushings, I don't think there would be a problem because there wasn't a problem
Not
before.
gonna tolerate that.
Well,
After
they-
Minnesota, no.
There's
This is
never
what
a
the
problem in
Minnesota
the past.
Department of Health.
That is not the report that the Minnesota Department of Health got gave on flushing as, or why it was happening. Had nothing to do with David and flushing.
Could
you let the mayor finish talking?
Sure, but the mayor wasn't at the meeting with the Minnesota
Yeah,
Department.
but he was
Who
talking.
is the
You
mayor?
interrupted.
Hey, Larry, please,
Well, just.
no outbursts.
They're right, go ahead.
And the complaints to the city hall, I believe that has been done, but in the past, and citizens are not getting not getting responses. You can call, you can leave a message, but they're not getting a response back.
Yes, you
Yes,
may.
you can.
I'm talking about the water and sewer right now, I'll address the rest of them, but now with any water and sewer complaint, it goes into an electronic spreadsheet that we share with Minnesota Department of Health, and we share with MMS on a regular basis. They're looking at everything every month, so they wanna know what day we flushed, what day a complaint came in, what day we responded to the complaint, so if he responds to a complaint, he sends me a message and then it gets tracked. I can't answer for what happened in the past or what people did or didn't get, but I can tell you that they have come up with 5 or 6 different reasons, the Minnesota Department of Health and Minnesota Rural Water, as to why we're having chlorine problems, as far as free chlorine reaching the ends of the line. And while, for example, your house might get an O2 reading, 0.02, but 2 houses away has 0.0. It's not common. There's no debate that there's water problems here, but I will tell you, after going through the files with Department of Health, our water has not been chlorine perfect in 5 years. Has it been better than it is now? Yes.
Oh, yeah, a lot better.
Yep. But again, he's not the certified water guy.
Who is?
Right.
Can I ask David Bess a question about when you was talking about flushing?
If
David?
she's asking for clarity, we've gotta get to a point where we can answer some things.
What we do? Dave, can you answer that question?
What do you want?
You said something about flushing personal water heaters, and is that what you said?
That's what they recommended, was that the water heaters, the water filters, if you got water heaters, water filters, or, you know, softeners,
Water softeners.
you know, to check them, and then every 2 years, twice a year, they want you to flush them.
Okay, and then for the chlorine matter, you may or may not know, but is the levels up high enough for it to like run down the line? Cause I know like when we would get a.
Time we're getting to the end, no,
Yeah.
they're not up high
But are
enough.
we injecting,
We're injecting the
injecting
max
it?
that we can at this point. That's what MMS said,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Okay.
MMS is requiring or asking to flush the heater and the
No,
softener?
the Department of,
I didn't read that in the
Oh, okay,
report.
thank you.
I did get a copy of the report, and I didn't read that in the report, so I'll check that report again.
It's been verbalized to us at least 3 times by both Department of Health and,
Well, verbal and written are 2 different things. You can't say it's coming from the Department of Health if it isn't in the report.
Yeah, we're changed.
onward. Minnesota Department of Health has been here a few times in the past month. They too want residents to call City Hall first when any water quality concern. I wanna correct the perception that we are not responding, but with calls in several different directions, City Hall can't track all complaints or concerns, can't document what we are doing to react or respond to correct the situation, and how long it took us to respond. They're going to be critical in our efforts to get on top of the water issues, comply with Minnesota Department of Health, Minnesota Rural Water, and with MPCA, and are going to be important in our grant request to correct some of these issues. I can't stress the importance any further. Training. While Dave is not certified water or sewer guy in town, Minnesota Department of Health has requested that I get trained on and have the proper testing materials to at least check the free chlorine rate before and after each flushing, in addition to daily reading. I'm letting council know right now that I have the interest and desire. I have sent an email to Minnesota Rural Water to make this happen. And it says, can we authorize the clerk to verify the training cost to be chlorine certified if under $500?
No.
so that was basically so that, I put that in, and it's basically so that we don't have to wait a month to to say yes. If it's under $500 to get him trained and certified and get the right testing equipment.
Trained and certified as what?
To do the chlorine, free chlorine testing,
That's what they request.
because they're requesting that he test it daily, and they're requesting that he test it before and after each flushing.
And at different locations in town, not always here, not always in the middle of town, no, you know, different locations every day. And you have to record the
No,
locations.
not every day, he's asking for the tower reading to be daily.
But the chlorine tests that residents throughout the town have to be, those areas need to be registered. Like my house, and then maybe a house down here, or
Yeah.
maybe Pat Gobley's house, or, a house on Miller Drive. The addresses and the property owner's name have to be recorded.
He said that.
I
Is
wanna
it being
correct
done?
that, the addresses that have to be
The addresses-
recorded
The addresses.
are the quarterly addresses for the biological test, not the daily or weekly chlorine test when he's flushing.
I guess I'm gonna have to verify that to make sure, because what I read was sample locations and weekly results to be verified with district engineer at DOH. Sample locations and weekly results to be verified with the district engineer at Department of Health.
Yep, he's
That was
coming
in
up
the
with a
report.
new list of what those locations are to divide them between north, south, east, and west of the
Yes,
city.
and they have to be recorded and verified. Okay?
But that's what MMS does, isn't it?
No.
No?
And next thing is well pump maintenance is overdue. Minnesota Department of Health says their well pump does not act like it's performing well and may be a part of the equation as their problems. Ours has not been serviced in over 7 years, and they're supposed to be done every 5 years. Our provider is tailing well, and they can do it in a day to 2 days, if done before snowfall, and is estimated at $4,800 plus parts. That involves the drain.
Do you realize that when you pull that pump, you have to pull 160 feet of pipe first before you get to the pump? Do you know that?
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
They are the ones that'll do it.
Yeah, they're
And
doing
by
it.
checking the flow meter daily, that will tell you how many gallons per minute you are pumping. And if that fluctuates, then you probably have a pump problem. But if it doesn't fluctuate that much, you do not have a pump problem. That pump is less than 10 years old. Did you know that?
Well, I was
But it
there,
says every 5 years it should be
The
checked.
last one was in there 25 years before it was pulled.
Oops.
and we're saying that water quality is decreasing, so
Well,
if
water
Minnesota
quality is
Department of Health,
decreasing. I
if
can,
Minnesota Department of Health is saying your pump is at least 2 years past being pulled and needs to be serviced, why would we
they're
not?
recommending it. They're not saying you have to do it. It's a recommendation.
Minnesota Rural Water is seconding their thing, saying, why would you not do it if you have a water problem and you're trying to get to the bottom of it?
And if
What's
it-
the
if
well
it-
and the
if you realize if it-
The water
If
that pump is pumping, that
Hey.
water is not the problem. The problem is the chlorine and the fluoride meters are probably not working properly. And the biggest problem was when we ran out of chlorine and nothing was done immediately about it because nobody knew we had run out of chlorine. Because whoever was monitoring it wasn't monitoring it correctly.
The problem was the higher ammonia.
And yes, we have had high ammonia for several years. And that's why the chlorine has always been run a little higher. And we never had a problem before. Now that we ran out of chlorine, and then you shocked the system with all that extra chlorine, you loosened everything up in the lines, which is causing a lot more problems than you guys even anticipated.
Whatever, it's still.
Pulling that pump is not going to clear up the problem with the water.
So if it's a piece of equipment that's supposed to be serviced every 5 to 7 years, and you have 2 different agencies recommending that, do we ignore it, so we have another $10,000
I
tractor
would,
issue?
I would go with what the flow meter says and monitor that for a couple of months and see what happens. But do you know how to monitor the flow meter? Is there anybody here that knows how to monitor the flow meter?
Yeah, our
Evidently you
contracted
do.
company, MMS,
Can they do that on a daily basis?
not right now,
Well,
but that's okay.
and
that
that's
comes up
probably a
further in the agenda.
recommendation for a pump that is probably running 10 to 24 hours a day. The pump pumps here might run 1 to 2 hours a day, if even that.
Why are you saying probably?
What do you mean?
If they're giving you a recommendation, they're giving it based on the gallons that are flowing and the age of the pump and the fact that it's not serviced. Why would you not service something that's due to be serviced X amount of times or
Spend
however many years?
$5,000.
Well, preventive maintenance, you have to do preventive maintenance. If it completely quits, what do we do?
They can have one here in a day,
Then we,
That's how it won't run dry in a day.
not, then, the pumping of it, we should get it done.
When it breaks.
You get that done. Get the,
Well, I think we should have it looked at, and whatever, maybe it isn't the pump. Can't we have somebody come and,
You have to pull 160 feet of pipe before you can pull the pump. Do you know that?
well, they have to do it, we're not doing it.
that's in the, that has to be in the bid. $4,800.
I mean, fix it before it breaks.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to do that.
Before this is voted on, are both of these recommendations in writing?
Yes, they are.
Is there any way to see copies of those by?
Does
chance?
anybody know what they're doing? Really?
Oh, God.
Sounds to me like a lack of maintenance over
No
25
need numbers
years.
to be with. Especially a derogatory one.
I think he was just asking a simple question.
Well,
You're
if,
not
if,
supposed to.
if David's not the water guy, and we've contracted MMS, and we're working with a state agency, the Department of Health, and they're recommending that we work with Minnesota Rural Water, which is known as the water authority for municipalities, I still don't understand the question of why you wouldn't listen to their recommendations.
Before
When it
you
comes-
jump into this,
I'm not jumping, I'm bringing
before
something
you,
to council.
before you guys jump into this, don't you think that monitoring that flow meter for at least a couple of weeks to see if it fluctuates enough to make it worth pulling the pump?
I think we should do it. Because of the fact that all preventive maintenance, you get it done, it's gonna work, so it doesn't
I mean,
break down.
LFC probably pulls theirs every 2 to 5 years because their pumps run 24/7. Our
Yeah,
pump
I'm
runs
sure they've
1
got
to
more than
maybe
enough,
2
too.
hours a day, 1 at tops.
Mr. Mayor, how long before we're gonna be broke? What, in your estimate?
We're never gonna be broke.
Why you gonna grab
Hey,
over?
that's enough. That's enough.
Public forum.
Don't you think you have a subject matter expert here that was doing the water for 30-some years? Don't
Been
you
in it
think
for
he knows?
38 years.
He just said he didn't do it for 25.
If the whole purpose is to re-engage in public comment forum by the next meeting,
Why?
You know
It's
what?
public money.
It's gonna happen.
I don't understand. It's public, it's health. It's the health of the drinking water of this town. This guy did it for 40 years. I don't understand why you wouldn't take his recommendation or his input. Like, what is the point?
That's all
Public
out.
input.
Your decorum is deplorable, so.
What?
I think the council's
I
deplorable.
don't, hey, Larry,
I'll leave.
will you leave, please?
You're so fucking stupid.
And derogatory
Yeah, listen to a guy that
swearing
doesn't
and
convict.
bad
You are a
language.
dumbass. All of you.
And you're on
And you got rid of a damn good clerk to bring in a thief and
I
a.
wish you'd quit shaking so much.
Maybe it's the water.
Their trap that comment was
Did we
totally
not?
uncalled for.
You sit up there and say,
Hey, I'm sorry,
you sit up there and say, terrible.
I'm sorry I said that.
I want to
I apologize to Larry.
Just did.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Somebody else says that you kicked their ass out, but you can say it, not get kicked out.
When you said he can't walk.
I have, you weren't there, you did not hear it.
No, but I heard about it.
He had secondhand information. I just made a comment that, I just made a comment that said he
Sandy?
can't walk. is derogatory.
Bring the meeting to order.
Water's been shit on this first.
Bring the meeting to order.
Water's been shit for 10+ years.
I made a motion to go ahead with that.
For a
We
second.
need a second for it.
Motion's been made and seconded to.
It's not bad if it's tested.
Here we go. That's true.
Stephen Well,
Where are they from?
Might ask them to be quiet.
please, while we're trying to make a motion here.
What was the name of the company, please?
Stephen Well,
Dealing with a TH, and they're the active well company, have been for over 20 years here.
Where are they out of? Can you spell the name, please? S what?
THE, and I think it's ILEN. Give me a second, I'll see if I have it. It's actually in the agenda. It's actually in the agenda.
You better give her the telephone number too.
motion's been made and seconded
I don't see it.
to have the Stephen Well Company do the maintenance on the, is it the well? On the well? Well pump. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
The motion's been made and seconded and carried.
Not in here.
It's been made and carried. Next.
I got a page missing.
Fire department report?
Yeah. So for October, we had no fires, we had 1 medical, we have 3 new applications for the fire department. We had our Fire Prevention Week open house and all staff were present. We dedicated the new fire truck as 993 and we did an unveiling of the new logo. We are requesting to roll unused money from the allocated fire department budget to a newly created in-house budget for long-term equipment and or vehicle replacement in the future. So that's something we'd like you guys to think about, talk about, potentially doing another in-house budget just to roll that money over that we didn't use this year. We still to this date have not touched 1 penny of that $8,000 budget. Our Relief Association has been paying for everything so far. So that will just help, you know, like let's just say 10 years from now we want to get an updated truck, fire truck, engine, tanker, anything like that. That would help kind of defer those costs if we had money already set aside for it. Just something we're asking for. That doesn't mean that our Relief Association won't still be helping, and our Relief Association does still plan to take on all payments for the fire department itself. And the last thing is right now we are in the process of going through the whole town to make sure that things are up to par with all of our fire hydrants. We'll probably be going through and touching up paint on some of them. We'll be clearing 6 feet in every direction around that fire hydrant, so including upwards. If there's anything, a tree limb or anything hanging over our fire hydrants, we're gonna be trimming those up. So anything around the hydrant, if anybody's planted flowers or something, don't be surprised if the flowers disappear. We do need to keep those clear. And that's all I've got for you.
Thank you. Codification, code enforcement. City clerk, if you let us know.
We visited several properties, we gave just a verbal courtesy at 204 East Main, I need to correct that in the meeting minutes, that was the other thing we missed. 204 East Main was verbally asked to fix the fence that was falling down, they fixed it within 1 week, so that was self-abated. Cars, trucks, vehicles at 604 Mill Street, there were 9 of them that were not in compliance. We did a verbal with them, and that worked for about a day. And then we did placarded the vehicles with, the fluorescent paper that just says, hey, if this is your vehicle or you have an interest in it, it's in violation of these ordinances. And, gave them until actually this morning at 8:30 to correct that. And
Do you really think 5 days was enough notice for them to get rid of those vehicles? And they have been really, really good about moving things.
no, they haven't been
around.
really good. There's 11 different warning letters in 4 years in the file at that address. And they normally ignore them, and that's the complaint that you gave about codification not being enforced. So now that we did it, and they complied with it, and even got the bus out of there this morning, yes, the bus was removed this afternoon.
I didn't look up there today.
So, it's done.
Well, good.
That's what you asked for, was to start
Okay,
getting some
but
code enforcement.
did you just pick and choose who you put placards on? Because there's several other vehicles in town that do
Can I
not have
finish the
current
code
license
report?
tabs. Okay,
Great. The shop at 213 Main also got a verbal, just a conversation with them about the fact that code enforcement was stepping up, like 3 other addresses have received, and that all the spare wood and parts and metal needed to be cleaned up, and he's got someone that's supposed to be helping him across the street. And I gave him just a courtesy recommendation that he might wanna have a plan B, cause it didn't look like any of that was happening. Driving past there tonight, the stuff that we talked about and photographed is still there, so they're again at the point where they should get a letter, and they will be. The shop at 604.5 Mill Street also got a verbal. He had some questions about the ordinance and its exact language, which has been sent to him. So I'm guessing that he doesn't get his mail here, it's in, I think, an Albert Lee address, if I remember right.
Keith, before you move on, can I ask a question about the 604 Mill Street? Is that the junkyard place?
604 Mill Street is
Yes.
Southtown Auto. 604.5 is the old service station.
Okay, so I was just wondering, like, the 604 Auto, isn't that like a junkyard? Like, what are they in compliance of?
604 is the mini mall, what we call the mini mall, the long tan building.
No,
facing
that's 604.5.
That's the old mini mall.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's always, it doesn't matter what it used to be called, it's 604.5.
I just wanted to make sure that 604 Mill and 604.5 Mill aren't the same properties.
They're not the same property.
They're across the street from each other.
Correct.
Okay.
The abandoned residence at 455 Tower Drive is also one that's had a lot of codification letters in the past 2-3 years. Because I can't just verbally speak to her, she's from Iowa, I wrote her basically the same letter that just said the city is stepping up code enforcement and let her know what she was in violations of. There's several. Have considered that that one probably is going to end up going to the building inspector for the county, because they have a little more bite to their bark, if you will, and they're allowed to inspect more than we are. Chickens at 216 Main Street East were brought up as well, the same thing, a verbal courtesy stop. And I know that some were actually killed by a dog at large.
Yeah, whoever's
And,
complaining don't know that they got killed.
well, and that,
But you still have some, correct?
can I finish? Dave has said that he's getting rid of, he thinks 2 more yet this week, and he is looking for a permanent residence for them, but he's in disagreement about the interpretation of 2 different ordinances that seem to be conflicting, so he's checking into that and asking me to do the same. Is that an accurate depiction of our conversation, Dave?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Was there another chicken violation letter written? Cause the other person in town is just moving further back into his property.
I haven't seen or heard any chickens, nor has anyone said anything.
Why is everybody so against chicken?
Because there's an ordinance
That's
against
what I'd
them.
like to know.
I don't know.
Any other town can have chickens.
Because
but-
they have ordinances that are followed, like Albert Lee, you have to buy a permit in order
Well,
to have
I think
chickens.
we should change our ordinance.
Well, that involves a public hearing.
Feel free to bring that up as a motion in a public meeting.
Here's
Mom has chickens
And nobody
have a-
costs
a
you $100
certain amount
for a
of
permit.
Show
And then you have to have a certified, an approved coop before you can even think about getting them.
Well, there's a lot of laws about it.
It is. And each city's a little bit different. So that's what I have for code enforcement right now. I do know that, it was brought up to go visit Tanner's house, and I have not yet done that. Again, codification's not a full-time thing at all, but he is on my list to go look at
He
that.
doesn't have.
There is an unlicensed vehicle
There's
at
questions
Patrol, and
about more than just chickens there.
there is an unlicensed vehicle at the house next to Jeff's house, the yellow house next to Jeff's house. I'm not sure of the address, but you know what property I'm talking about. Those tabs were expired in February of '25, and there are several up in the trailer park, unlicensed vehicles.
No.
And I have a question that, when was it decided that the city clerk could issue ordinance violations? No, I want you to explain that to me.
You were here.
You were here
When was that decided?
when we appointed him.
You
to
appointed a
the-
committee to verify the violation. You did not say they had the authority to issue a violation.
Why don't you just explain it if you'll be quiet for a minute?
We had it at the meeting that the codification committee, I believe we said they could issue everything. But let them know that they're in non-compliance.
Nope, it didn't go to everything.
No, it didn't.
It went to warning letters or visits and even placarding vehicles. There was an 8-page proposal as to the process. I can't, or the code committee can't issue a fine
No, you
and
can't.
can't issue a public hearing. That has to be done
Well,
by
then
council.
how come,
Why does it say $75?
Yeah,
then on
why does
here?
it
Because that's
say-
in your ordinances as an administrative fine.
Sounds like you're impersonating
Yes,
a
Yeah,
officer
you're
again.
impersonating a
here it states on this one, here,
Again.
$75 fine if it is
Administrative.
removed within five days.
Yeah, that's what your ordinance allows.
Well, we talked about sending them a letter.
Yes,
then
and
if
they've gotten a
nothing was
letter.
done,
Then
They got a letter.
right.
And the letter wasn't responded to. So the next step was placarding, which by the way, we use the exact same language as the placard of the city of Albert Lee.
But
That's where we got it
There's
from.
nothing in the minutes that said letters were sent to these properties. Can you show me in the minutes where these properties were sent a letter about their violation before you issued the placard?
No, but I'll get you a copy of the letter that's dated, how's that?
Well, I want it
And-
in
and
the
if you go-
minutes.
And if you go back to the roundtable discussion, which you were present at,
Right.
it was discussed that they had
It needs to be
letters.
in the official minutes.
It's in the official meeting minutes as of tonight, as to what the process was. You don't.
But this is after
Sandy,
the fact.
You don't want me to wait a month in between noticing a violation and acting on it, correct? So you want me to wait a month to come in and ask permission to write a letter?
Yep.
I'm asking you.
Yep.
That's exactly contradictory to what you proposed to the council. Yes, it is.
The
You pro-
committee was designed to verify the violations, they are brought to the council, and then the council gives you permission to send a letter. That was my
Mr. Mayor, I
understanding.
suggest that I just give her a copy of the resolution that was made about the codification
I think
and
you
the
should give her-
policies that were adopted with it, and I will email those to her tomorrow.
Well, just print me out a hard copy, because I
No.
don't have a printer,
I'm not required to print
and
your
I
letter.
am not able to, at this time, pick up your emails, because I don't have a smartphone. So, I would like a
Including
hard
Word form.
copy. There was never a problem getting a hard copy before from any other of the city clerks.
Yes, you
Why
sent
is
me
it
that
from
in
you?
an email, and I responded to that, didn't I? Did I not?
Send emails to me, but you can't receive them?
Certain attachments I cannot open.
Which is why the last two emails, I didn't do attachments.
No.
I typed in the body and the text of it
Well,
specifically
then
for
you could
you,
just-
so that you got them.
Okay, so, all you have to do is make a photocopy, give me a call, or run 25 steps next door and pick it up.
When is the next open house for the fire department? You can pick it up then.
Oh, next year?
Well, I'm just saying, you only want to
Goes
go
on
through
by
there.
No more fire.
Come on, let's
I'm sorry.
keep the outburst down.
That was cheap.
That
I
was-
just
that was
apologize
John,
for
right?
totally
Larry,
rude.
you left once.
Shut up. I can say,
Come on.
Larry.
He hasn't even said a thing since he's been back in here.
He's been sitting over there.
He didn't say a thing.
He is saying it. Okay, what's this about Councilman Sandy?
you asking him? You're the mayor.
That's her report period.
Oh my God.
That's council reports.
Start the reports, sorry, Sandy, you're first.
Well, are you gonna discuss other stuff that was on the agenda or not? You missed a whole section on the agenda here.
Which section?
The second page is Mayor David Presto, old business, review of the work study, maintenance.
Review of the work study was done.
Right here, page 2, the top, recommend hydrant flushing, training, okay, well pumps. You haven't touched anything on the well pump.
Are you kidding me?
And, are you gonna bring up anything about the Minnesota Pollution Control letter that you received? The violation, the letter of violation, are you gonna bring any of that up?
I am.
I believe you did, that's where 90% of the recommendations that we just read out loud is from.
They came from the Department of Health, what about the pollution control violations? No, you've got your own copy. Yeah.
Goodness.
And I do have one thing, on my report where we have the water connections, I have come up with, there are 74 water connections in town. It states, item number 3, if you do not, no, item number 4, there really isn't a number there. If the number of service connections for your system does not match the number on the form, please cross out and indicate the correct number. Please recalculate the amount due and indicate that also. Submit the statement and payment in the envelope provided. So there are 74 connections. And when you build for the connections, did you build the trailer park for 6?
I believe I answered you by email, the trailer park doesn't have 6.
Yes, they do.
According to the state of Minnesota and Minnesota Rural Water, and it's their map, their survey map that shows us all the connections.
I can tell you where they are.
Yeah, you said that last time, and I
There's
invited,
one at the house
and I
that
invited
Tro-
you to look at the map that
There
we
is
had right
one
here.
at
That's the
the
official
house that
document,
Trollen-
and you shoved it back and said you didn't wanna look
Okay,
at it.
all right, okay. Did,
We have-
did Mr. Costumas get billed for 3
For what?
Yeah.
water connections?
Where?
One at the bank, one at his building there, and one on the church property.
I don't know for sure about the church property, cause I don't have the records in front of me, but I know he paid one check for over $250 in the quarter.
That was 204.
Yeah.
And is he
Water-
building,
water-
any 2
The one
water
over there at
reports
that
since
church
the
lot.
apartment is being rented?
water department.
The upstairs apartment is being rented out. There's
No,
people
you
living up there.
can't do that by law. We clarified that at one of the past meetings.
Yeah, we had that in the meeting, we talked about that.
So let's just back up. I'm not trying to be rude.
Well,
here.
there's 74 connections in
Okay.
town.
I can't
And
go
the-
by
was the
your
creamery bill?
74.
Were Trollen's billed for the creamery?
Yes.
The city has 5. Did you pay for your 5? Did the city pay for their 5?
Yes, the city actually overpaid this time.
The trailer park has 6.
The trailer park has 3.
The trailer park, each, Trollen's house has 1, the next house has 1, and there's 4 within the trailer park.
Not according to the state and MMS and Minnesota Rural Water.
And that
David
map.
Presto
And the
has
certified
2.
map.
David Presto has 2.
I do?
You have
There's
a
a
question?
shut off on your garage property and there's a shut off on your house property because where your garage is sitting used to be a house and a
And
barber
you know
shop.
what? David Pressel paid his bill of you.
Mine's right here. It's right here. I had to get a money order.
October
It's
31st.
the 3rd.
It's dated October
I don't
31st.
have it yet. The 3rd.
This is the 3rd.
In fact, if you wanna bring that up, we'll bring up the January one from last year too, that you didn't pay late fee.
Yes, I did pay it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I have the email from you that says, don't bill me a late fee.
And
I
I
wouldn't
paid
give
it.
him any money
I
anyway.
paid it.
No, I wouldn't.
It's right here. I paid the January bill. I can show you. Here's this
I
bill.
didn't say you didn't pay the bill. I said you didn't pay a late fee in January.
It passed in the mail. My mail is forwarded. It takes an additional 10 to 12 days to get to me.
But it's the same.
Can we move on?
Let's move on, get this.
Was
meeting going.
Dairyland Power billed for 1 connection?
Yes, they were.
Was Cummins billed for 2?
Can't say off the top of my head. There's no
Well,
Dairyland Power Control.
And in the past, the city has never billed for inactive connections. Why all of a sudden did we decide we were gonna bill for inactive connections?
Because the state of Minnesota bills us and.
I know.
Finish, you're asking questions, I'm trying to give you the answer, Sandy. I'm not trying to be confrontational with you. I'm giving you the answer answer as to why. The state of Minnesota bills us for every single connection, okay?
And we overpaid because there's only 74. Because you did not read the instructions.
Let me know when you're done so you can finish.
I know what they bill us for, but if the instructions had been read properly, that number could have been corrected.
Great, when did I start here?
Did anybody ask for any
October
help?
10th, I believe,
Did
right?
anybody ask for
Yes,
any help?
every time we ask for help from you, Sandy, you tell us you're not going to help. Every single time.
Every time.
Why should I?
Well, you can't have it both ways.
You don't take my advice, you don't take my help, so why should I?
There's a difference between advice and
I'm
demanding
telling
that
you,
you're
there's
the only one
74
that's right.
connections, and I want you to verify that everybody that has more than one connection has been billed for them.
And the people,
And I didn't put the increase on here because there is no increase. I didn't
I
add the
believe
$5.
that's clarified tonight, right?
So that's not showing on there,
I believe that's clarified tonight, right?
okay?
Okay?
Let's move on.
Next one, moving on. Councilman Jeff Castillas.
Again, 6 months in a row he misses.
He hasn't missed 6 months in a row.
He's farming.
Yes, he has.
He's farming in the dark?
He's been here.
We
got headlights on our tractors.
Fire department, an old building, an old fire department building, maintenance garage, and now we're waiting for electric and gas.
Do we really wanna, I think we should go with Jim Maduz, I know they're hired, but at least their work will be done correctly. And that other bid you had, wasn't it back in February that the owner and one of his employees were arrested for unregistered guns?
I'm planning, no.
Oh, God, yes.
I would verify that story if I were you.
They'll put it in for $985, which is like $1,400 cheaper than Jim and Dude's, $1,500.
Jim
So I-
Maduz, it's gonna
I
be
think we
done
should go-
correctly, I know that.
I think we should go with Platinum Plumbing,
Yeah, 'cause he's.
because they are
That's
licensed
not,
and
who did
bond.
you say, Diamond?
Platinum.
That, you better check that, news article.
Well, that's been a year ago in the past, now they're, God, it must
I
have
don't
corrected
think
some,
he checks
because
news articles.
they're a reputable outfit in Elton.
Never heard of them.
So,
Or the fire
I
department,
know, I used to work for
They
them.
did something wrong. Well, you've never heard of
I'm gonna make the motion that we hire Platinum Plumbing.
Motion been made and seconded to hire Platinum Plumbing to finish the installation of the heater in the old fire department building. All in favor? Pardon?
If I have to take meeting minutes, I can't hear what everybody's talking.
Because he won't come.
Hey, we got it. Please be quiet. There's been a motion made by Linda Viss, seconded by David Viss, to hire Platinum Plumbing to put the furnace in the building. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion was made and carried, hire Platinum Plumbing to finish the installation of the,
And how soon are they gonna do it?
I don't know, I'll have to call them tomorrow. Councilman Linda Viss, new business, Christmas decoration.
We had to throw away all of the Christmas decorations. And I think any other city has nice Christmas decorations. We did put them up one year and they not functioning. Anyway, I think that I would like to look into what they cost and where we can get them. Not necessarily this year. I mean, I don't think there's time to do it this year.
You're gonna need an estimate on what the electrical costs and the poles up to date too.
They've already been here. Freeborn Mauer did it for nothing.
No, they didn't.
And then there has to be another, pipe ran down. And we don't pay them to do it. They do.
When were they here?
When the other Christmas decorations were going up.
I would check
Not
on
last
that.
year.
I think that
The year
needs to be
before.
checked into because I don't believe that was done correctly. I don't believe Freeborn Power would even do
what
it.
they're doing.
Dave, what was it here and done?
They'll hook it up if we put the pipe, extension pipe up to the line.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
When the ocean manual exploded, when we were.
And they're doing it for nothing,
They
right?
will hook it up and they'll snap it and they'll hook it up.
That's right.
And you verify that in writing, please?
I will get that from him.
And you're proposing that for next year, correct?
Well, I want permission to check on it and see what they
You're
cost,
not even on the council, so.
you know.
Good idea. That's a big motion for that. Just go ahead and check it out and bring it up at the next meeting.
Better respond.
Linda, can I ask you a question? Are you looking at getting like brand new decorations, or maybe like if
Well-
he buys new ones, you buy their old ones?
You know, that's a good question. That's a good question, I will check on that.
You thought it just banners,
Huh?
just banners, there's no electricity involved, it's just hanging banners.
No, we don't want just banners, let's have some lights.
Let's do some checking on it first. David, this.
I can check on, see how much banners are too, but I think we need lights.
Me and Jeff wanted to heater up on the thing to deviate the cost a little bit. We had, the creek was plugged up by Park Road for
It's still
beavers.
plugged, but you know, it's still plugged.
Well, the beavers are back in there again, then Sandy, why don't you go chase them for me? I don't know.
Your maintenance person,
He was down
where
there.
was it plugged?
Right by the culvert.
What culvert?
The culvert that goes under this Park Avenue. Park Road.
Which side of the culvert?
That would be, let's see, on the.
South
on the
side.
Tanner side.
It's still plugged. I just thought I'd let you know, I was down there today and it's
I'll
still
check
plugged.
it again. I did have the water flowing, yeah.
Well, it's flowing, but it's not flowing the way it should be. There's stuff inside the culvert.
Call the DNR, they'll send a trapper in.
Can sign somebody, and what, if you see a beaver, shoot it?
No.
You can't.
Can't do that today.
You gotta call the DNR and they'll send somebody in to
You
trap
cannot
it.
discharge a firearm within the city limits, no ifs, ands, or buts.
See,
Oh,
years
yes,
ago-
you can, because the cop told me, if that dog came over and got on our property and bothered our chicken, he said, get your gun and shoot it.
They shouldn't have the chickens.
So don't tell me that you can't.
Yes, years ago up in Albert Lea.
No, you can't shoot a, no, you can't shoot a beaver.
You probably can't shoot a
You
beaver.
can call the DNR and they'll tell you no.
Can we move on past the beavers, please?
There's too much comment out there.
Please, be quiet.
You can't even interrupt the meeting.
No, we can't.
Order, put a quorum in here, please. And David, you flush the hydrants?
Yep, 10:30 there was flush.
Okay.
Dave, I got a question on that, if I may.
Here we go again.
No, it's just a simple question. What's the recommended time for flushing each hydrant? That's all I wanna ask.
Pending till they come clear, he said.
Every,
With a maximum of 10 minutes, was his whole
Maximum, yeah.
Maximum.
Who gave you that recommendation, if I can ask?
Minnesota Department of Health and Minnesota Rural Water. Zach was one of the guys' names?
I think she was asking Dave,
Yeah,
not
I was
you.
at the meeting, so
You was there.
I'm just.
Well,
Dave had to leave and he was at the meeting.
I think you should get some.
yeah, jack of all trades.
I don't know any school I ever attended, it always said a minimum of 15 minutes. And I have been to several water schools, and anything I was ever to, minimum of 15 minutes.
The
So,
state is telling us wrong, Sandy. I don't know
well,
what to
I'm
tell
just
you.
telling you what I have learned at school.
Telling us wrong then, I guess.
well, continuing on. I called, I called KLM, and they said they referred me to Joshua, and I waiting for him to call me back. I'm gonna call him tomorrow, make sure we can get a hold of that engineering firm to come and look over our problem. Old business. Cannabis ordinance. We are gonna be in a lot of trouble if we don't get this done.
What do we have to do?
Well, now we have to have a public hearing.
Why do we have to have a public hearing?
Because it's a new ordinance.
Too long ago.
It's a new ordinance.
Hearing that we had on the ordinance is now a year old, so it doesn't count. You have to redo your public hearing on the proposed ordinance. Correct, Sandy?
How about the zoning?
The zoning's been completed towards the ordinance and the map's on the way.
Does a public hearing have to be done on the rezoning?
I don't know, that was before my time, I just know that it was done and it's in the agreement.
I don't know if there ever was a proper public notice on the rezoning, because several of the property owners did not receive the notice of the public hearing, so
So you're right, if there wasn't,
I don't
then no, we
think.
can't move forward, I'll look into it.
I don't think there was.
There was a couple property owners that said they were never made aware of a public hearing on the zoning. So, might be something we wanna do from 6 to 7 before the December meeting. Or if you think we need an hour and a half, do 5:30 to 7. But I don't think the zoning one's gonna take that long.
I was here.
But we gotta get that notice out soon. And any property owner that it would involve that doesn't have liquor, you should probably send a letter to. Well in advance of the 3-day notice before the public hearing.
Public hearing notice is 10 days on the zoning.
So that they receive it the 10 days before the meeting, which means it's mailed probably 14 days ahead of the meeting. Took 11 days for a letter to get from Forest City up here to Twin Lakes, so you know how bad we have it.
Okay, moving on to new business. Review of the next work study on Minnesota Book of Ordinances.
So just let you know that we just got the proposed ordinance changes in the Minnesota Book of Ordinances, like just got yesterday. And there are quite a few changes that are gonna most likely require public readings and or hearings if they're going to alter them. One of the things they did change is chapter 19 is a now local chapter, that if the city wants to adopt their own ordinances, they go under a chapter 19 type. I haven't dug any more into it than that, cause like I said, we just got it yesterday.
And the next work study, we're gonna talk about adopting the Minnesota Building Code.
No, Minnesota Building Code, we've already adopted.
We have adopted it.
Done years ago.
It's the Minnesota Fire Code that we're looking at.
And then the fire code is the next item. So review the next work, so we'll review the fire code. And the resolution to cite as reference NFPA.
What's NFPA?
Sorry. I'll get better at my initials, I'm sorry. National Fire Protection Association is the NFPA that sets a lot of the fire and fire safety standards.
And an ordinance to adopt the fee schedules in 2026 is coming up. Water sewer increase and resolution to adopt official newspaper.
It's about,
That is usually done in January along with the attorney. and-
that's what it
I
says.
get,
We did it in December
Well,
last year.
it has to be done in January at your first meeting. The budget's approved in December, but all your assignments and that are at your first meeting in January. I will,
we start thinking about the 2026 annual resolutions, appointments, ordinances. Do chapter 19, gotta get that explained to us. And codification for individual city ordinances. The consent agenda, that's the bills, right?
yeah,
ACH.
the consent agenda is the ACH, right?
Do you have the list?
Yeah, I do it, when we came in here, it's been very. more before we get to consent agenda that's not on the agenda, but if you wanna hear about it at all, it is one of the Minnesota Department of Health things. And the quote literally came in like 5 minutes before the meeting. It has to do with the sanitary sewer cleaning and inspection and maintenance. I did reach out to some
That
other
came
people.
from the Department of Health or MBCA.
The quote is not from either. The quote is from Empire Piping. Empire Piping are the ones that did it last time in 2017. And it is in relation to the smoke test and the complaints about tile that may or may not be collapsed or broken and where those tiles leak to. It's the same company that did the
I
scoping.
think I told you guys before where that tile on the drive goes. But you haven't listened.
Yeah, you're right. I looked at the scoped video that's on record that shows all the tree roots and everything in them, and nothing's been done about it since 2017.
I got you 2 bids.
So it's possible that those are,
I got an answer for that.
No, you don't.
why not? Why not? And I'm not being, I'm serious. Why not let him, say it is?
I know where it was. It wasn't in a sewer line,
That Empire
but you
pipe
guys
scope?
know everything.
That Empire pipe scope?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you know everything.
The Empire pipe scope is more than just the sewer line and is connected to the smoke test that was done as well. I've spoken with the guy that did it from Empire in 2017 several times, and his concern is that if it wasn't fixed in 2017, it's very likely worse now than it was then.
Smoke tests were done after that, after 2017.
There's another smoke issue.
So Larry, are you saying that after the last test and scoping, that things were corrected?
Yep. But it wasn't in a sanitary sewer.
Not all of the problems were in the sanitary sewer, that is very correct. But some of them were, and there's no record anywhere of them being corrected, and Danny Tuttle's still saying they weren't corrected, and you're all in.
Danny Tuttle's doesn't go into the sanitary sewer.
You've all been very concerned about his collapsed pipes and where they're going and where it's all running to, right?
Well, I know where his weakling tile and his basement drains go. I believe
Goes
his
down to the
basement
crack.
drains are not hooked up to the sanitary, that they're hooked up to the tile that's broke on Miller Drive. And that tile is not connected to storm drains or sanitary sewer. Calm down.
That time they did the scope, it was in this storm sewer, right around our
Right
house
here.
and down to this creek. And we had it plugged,
And it was, my yard was
and
dug
we
up
had
in
it
3
jetted,
spots.
and then they wrapped that plastic right up,
And the
and we
scope
dug
was-
it.
And the scope was 9 different addresses in town, correct?
Not that I know
That
of.
was a smoke test.
No. The camera scope is, the video of it's in City Hall. It's 9 addresses. He did over 1,700 linear feet of scoping.
I might have done it where, but the main was out here,
The main was the
but you
storm
guys
drain.
know everything.
The main part of it
You
was
don't
the
know a
storm
fucking
drain.
thing.
Larry.
You don't.
You know,
Get out of here.
when I ask you to come up here nicely and I stand here and I entertain your thoughts and I say, okay, and then you gotta swear to us.
You were, yes.
Come on.
No, this whole town was great before you guys
No,
came.
it wasn't.
The hell it wasn't. We never had nothing like this.
Larry,
No, we didn't.
come to order, please.
You are a dumbass.
No, not a long shot there.
ACH's Freeborn Hour Electric 66702. Bear with me, 'cause I have 2 different reports, cause they didn't all come at once.
Yeah.
Minnesota Energy, one account's 2108, the other one's 2276.
Is that 2,276 and 2,103?
$21.08. And then $22.76. WCTA phones, ACH, $134.61. Freeborn Mauer, as I said, was $667.02. Expenses out of other purchases, mostly on the debit card, were Minnesota Department of Vehicle Services for the registration of the city-owned fire truck for $39.84. It's in two separate transactions. I don't know why one's 84 cents and one's $39.
What was the other one, $39 a month?
$39 even, and the other one is 84 cents. AnyDesk, $277.44 was for some of the computer assistance in trying to get things unlocked, which was fairly successful and led us down the road to getting more help from the actual provider. Google, $12, Google G Suite for the new emails being set up was $12. That is a reoccurring online thing, but the first payment was by debit card. Intuit QuickBooks was $44. American Legal Publishing for the new Book of Ordinance Codes is $435, also on the card. The maintenance and everything on the city white pickup truck was $921.08. And just so everybody's aware, and doesn't hear me say a name you're not familiar with, Swanee's is the new name of what used to be Laird's. He would not extend credit for $900 and some to the city as a new small business owner. I did talk to him about if he wants to set a dollar limit, so that we know what our credit limit is, and he hasn't gotten back to us. Dollar General for $29.53 for cleaning supplies. Home Depot, $86.30 for lighting to replace a lot of the burnt out bulbs. Our interest this month was $20.54. Our service charge was $8.03. Our running average, $24,188.95.
Will we get a copy of the financials from now on? We used to get them all the time.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have them set to do it that way this time, so if you give me a few days, I'll put together a packet.
That would be nice.
And the well company that you asked about earlier is Thein, T-H-E-I-N.
Kind.
Okay, well, just saying how I said it, sorry. They're out of Spicer, Minnesota. And last time they did an estimate to pull the pump was $7,550. This time the quote's $4,000 something.
No, he didn't say anything.
What do you want it cheaper?
Not gonna complain.
Why aren't David Biss's wages on there?
Or yours?
Yeah.
Because we're in the ACH and consent agenda portion first.
Oh, of course.
The previous city clerk doesn't understand that.
Okay.
You need that motion before I can go to the resolution.
I'll make my motion to pay the ACH, but I thought we did a motion to pay all the bills.
No, the ACH is
separate.
Oh, okay, I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay the consent agenda ACHs. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's been made and carried.
She needs to vote out loud.
I abstain.
That's what I call the ACA.
Motion's been made and carried to pay the ACHs. Well, the bills to be paid.
Southern Lock and Glass, $15.80 for 4 Sergeant keys. I have no clue what for, it was on 10-3. Didn't even know what keys were made, so I can put it in there.
They're made for the water tower building. I went and got it.
Reimbursement for David Viss for, I got your agenda with the total there in front of you. David, do you have your total in front of you? Six, I think, but. So David's our $95.99 for the rear deck, rear and left gauge wheel on the John Deere mower. Again, $95.99, and that is from Caltrek on May 16th. And I will say this for everybody, I'd really like to have invoices, bills, and things that you wanna get reimbursed for within the same calendar month, or it's gonna screw up bookkeeping.
Well, can't they just,
That's
if
gonna
there's,
screw
can't,
up.
don't you have a mailbox out here that they could just, can't they put it in an envelope and slide it in the mail slot the day they get it, or the day or so after they get it, so you have it right away?
Sure, that'd be great.
There you go.
September 25th was $138 for a pump for the skid for the fire department. However, since the fire department's not yet using it, he's using it for weed control, correct, David? And again, that was September 25th, $165.86. $165.86. September 5th, $51.53 for the 20-inch chainsaw bar and chains for the city chainsaw. September 19th, $52.60 for the lawnmower, for a wheel bracket, shift linkage, arm, and other pieces, parts. August 13th, $38.79 for the carburetor and carburetor kit and muffler for the weed control pump. August 12th was $21.46 for 4 deck wheels for the John Deere.
I agree with you, I think the invoices need to be returned or given to you like within
They had a little printing problem.
a couple of days.
Swanee's already done. DBS is already done. Advertising invoices for the Albert Lee newspaper. These have not been paid. These were for the resolutions. The first one was for resolution number 9, awarding the bid on the security cameras, $40.42.
4042?
$40.42. I'm gonna try and do all the ads together, so give me a second.
Mr. Mayor, I'm having trouble hearing what's going on up here because of all the commentary back here. Is there any chance you could ask them to please be quiet?
Yes,
You
that,
can hold
please
it.
be in order, bring the quorum to a
Also in advertising in our Albert Lee newspaper, resolution 25001, which was amending the resolution where it named Lisa DeRad as the responsible authority, and now it just reads the city clerk treasurer. That was $40.42. Resolution 25008 was the censorship, in the amount of $46.44. Resolution 25-012, additionally accepting the conditional donation of the fire equipment from the Twin Lakes Fire Relief was $66.22. Resolution 25-11 was increasing the pension amount. That resolution publication was 6106. the resolution 25-013, establishing code enforcement and the policies and procedures through them, is $44.29. And resolution 25-010, hiring town law center, that publication was $31.39, and all of those were posted and published on October 15th.
You have to do that?
No.
No, resolutions do not have to be published in the paper.
So what was the grand total, Keith, on that publishing the resolutions?
I haven't run a ground total, I kept each one separate, because each resolution was separate.
Well, it sounds like it's several $100s, correct? Or more?
Two, three, somewhere between $350 and $400.
$280 dollars.
Well, 66 and 40 is 100. You had 2 at 66, 2 at 41, 46.
It's not $200.
It's wasted money anyway.
Well, some of the resolutions specifically said that they
To
had to
do
be,
with housing.
that they had to be with publishing.
The
And the
censor
resolutions themselves also said that we could do a summary publication, which kept the bill down quite a bit.
But it's still several $100.
Yep.
That's unnecessarily spent, correct?
Not in my opinion, but I understand where you're going with that.
Yeah, well, if we can't afford to have copies of the minutes and stuff for the,
Okay, I'm not gonna entertain the whole conversation, I'm
yeah,
just
no,
saying I
I
understand your
get that,
opinion.
but it's, I think it's a waste of city money
Thank
to
you.
do that.
Please, let us continue on here.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, Freeborn County Shopper, last time we met, you guys talked about $272 that we thought was for publication of the clerk's position, and that it didn't get published, so we withheld paying that. But further research showed that it was actually from the invoice number 925, which was for the property management position, way back in July. So the check was written on 10/6/25 for that, in the amount again of $272 and no change.
I thought that was kinda odd that they would have billed us when they didn't print it.
Wages,
How much was that shopper bill?
272.
272 even. David, I just had your time card in front of me. David, this is wages for the month were 40.5 hours. Gross is 708.75.
That's for the month of,
That is for the month of October, 2025. It's 74 hours in, $22 an hour for the month, which is $17.49 minus the deductions. Take home's $15.32.38.
do we have a bill from MMS?
No, our bills from MMS were paid in full as of the last meeting, and I do not have a new bill from MMS yet. We paid over $5,000 on the last one. That is all the bills. Once you approve that, I have one other update on an agenda item.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion been made, second to pay all the bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is made, voted on, carried. Pay the bills.
Last item I have got skipped in the agenda was the cameras where the down payment was made on the cameras. And I spoke to Daniel, who was in a severe car accident and just had neck surgery. And he said he will have them installed within the next 30 days, but he's pretty stiff and sore right now from surgery. So that's just an update on that. And that's all I have.
Announcements. The Truth and Taxation public hearing will be on Monday, December 1st, at 6 P.M. before the regular scheduled city council meeting. The 2026 budget will be discussed in full at the regular city council meeting following.
We'll get a copy of that proposed budget ahead of time.
I'm not gonna commit to that right now, cause I just, hear me out. I got 3 months worth of paperwork that was not entered into a computer because we couldn't get into anything. I have to go back and all these months with everything we've done and get it all entered in.
Next meeting announcement, work study 11/17 to 2 P.M.
What about equipment?
As far as what?
As far as like a street sweeper?
You want the city to buy a street sweeper?
No, we want the one back that,
The street vacuum?
yeah.
The leaf
Well,
vacuum?
when you pay the storage fee on it, you can have it back. There's $1,000 storage fee due on it.
Okay,
At where?
we're gonna go here.
Oh,
All city property, keys, and equipment was already formally requested when Larry's separation of employment occurred and has not been returned.
And he said, when you pay the bill, you'll get it back.
City didn't pay for it.
The city didn't pay for it. Emmons paid for it.
All records of all properties are in an Excel spreadsheet.
Well, you wanna come and get it? You come and get it.
And we have to,
There's
pick
$1,000
it
bill
up
due.
right now?
No,
Do you have a contract with the city for storage? Or are you just extorting them because you don't wanna give it back?
it was agreed upon.
In which month? Cause I'd like to look
When
those
they
meeting
got it.
minutes. What meeting minutes were those in?
How many years have we had it?
Well, I'm just saying, that's what you keep asking me, so I'm asking you if it was
We
agreed upon.
can't get to it
in a
right now
council
because
meeting.
it's buried.
It's been asked for several months.
No,
Keith.
the first time it's been asked for.
In the meeting
Oh,
minutes, that all
wow.
property was requested to be returned. I can show you those meeting minutes, I do have them.
First time anybody's heard
There
it.
hasn't been any.
sounds to me like it's been stolen.
It's been in my building since it was brought to town.
But you didn't answer that email when it was sent to you, there, did you?
Wow, sounds like it's been
It
stolen.
shouldn't have been stored in your building.
There wasn't any room for it.
All
It was
city
still-
property and
You got a
equipment
building
needs to be
on that?
returned immediately.
I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
I don't think it's ready to motion for that.
You want it? You guys send somebody down to get it when I'm available.
Do you mean like the sheriff?
So,
Okay,
call and make an
we
appointment.
will, he'll be in a brown uniform with me.
Call and make an
Go ahead.
appointment. Go
I
ahead.
will.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Bring him down.
I'm ready to adjourn now, it's on the record.
We have now, Sherry. You should know.
Sandy made the motion, I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Wow, stolen equipment.
I wanna know when it's gonna be in the shopper for the clothes.
You won't get hurt, honey.
At least 21 days in advance.
You paid your child support yet?
I don't know child support.
That's to help you here.
He don't pay for his kids.
Who was in charge of maintenance for the last few years?
That would've been Larry.
Huh?
So that would've been Larry.
Oh, I just
Yeah, I'm
wondered.
telling you about that tractor.
Why,
We
why,
had that tractor, and the balance bad. So we gotta tear half the cab off to get at it. And he said,
Allowed to accept
he
this.
said,
No, I'm
you know
donating it
what,
to
it's
the,
gonna cost you more than
I'm
the
donating
tractor.
it to the city to
why
help
was
him
equipment and everything allowed to get
with
such disrepair
Right
for
here.
years?
Because
I mean,
why,
that shit that's going on with the truck and
I'm giving it to the
the tractor and the pump house, that shit didn't just happen in the last 6 months.
what happened?
So the shit's been going on for what, years?
What happened?
When's the last time the pump was fixed? When's the last time they looked at it? When's the last time they,
You don't pull that fucking pump every
when's the
5
last time,
years.
when's the last time the city,
You
when's the last time the city truck was serviced?
Come
When
on.
was the last time the city truck was serviced?
Hey, back off.
Hey,
Back off.
I don't know, I didn't.
Come on, Larry.
Hey, I'll tell you more about a fucking pump than you assholes know. Just like the.
You get that one.
bought a
said
pump
they're
in
waiting
the
until January to choose.
What have they done?
They didn't feel that.
Not in church anymore.
Yet. Don't worry about it. They posting. It definitely will be printed in the picture. Does that answer you?
Yeah, this is 29 years of firefighting, I can see this.
What would you like to do on a Monday evening in Minnesota?
Where do you need to go?
My name's Rachel, I'm with ABC Six News.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you guys would have a few minutes if you'd be willing to talk about some of the concerns for the people in the community.
Sure. Have a seat.
Would you be willing to talk on camera?
You did it all, you guys?
What's that?
Would you be willing to talk on camera?
No, I'm more than happy to answer your questions.
Okay. So you'd be willing to speak on the record?
We are, we're in front of everybody. No, I don't
But no, not on camera.
need to be on.
Heard some concerns about you serving in the role of sort of being a conflict of interest that you're having previously kind of in the city.
This is what I deal with every month. So now you see why it sucks to be alone here? Everybody attends.
Ask away.
Do you not see that as being a conflict of interest?
Every month if I'm available, this is.
I would totally like sent messages back, but I left my cell phone at home. My bag of chips was so much more important than that.
The lawsuit was filed because the city wasn't abiding by Minnesota data.
Somebody stole my
We usually go to comedy clubs.
I had to go buy another one.
So after 8 months of not fulfilling a very simple
think
data
so.
practice act
I've
of
been in there.
$1 amounts for the certificates of deposit, which you heard us reiterate tonight on all certificates of deposit, would have been that easy to answer. Conflict of interest? Absolutely not. It's taken 2 years to educate the city on what the law is and how to respond to it. The state of Minnesota sent the attorney and the city a letter back in June of 2024 telling them they were already in violation of the law and could and should be sued, and yet the information wasn't supplied until October. How long should a city council member have to wait to learn what dollar amounts for the certificates of deposit in the city in which they live? It's a valid question. How long should they have to wait? Well, he waited 90 days before I even did anything about it, and then I waited 8 months to find out how much money the city had in a certificate of deposit. So what I did in the interim was start educating the city council and individual city council members on what that lawsuit was about, how to avoid it, what the law said. And I appeared here every single council meeting. I don't think I missed one in that 8 months, very calmly, very professionally, at the podium without raising my voice or without swearing, which you saw a lot of tonight, simply saying, are you guys going to answer the public data request? Are you guys gonna push this all the way to the lawsuit? Do I see it as a conflict? Absolutely not.
And you did ask the city though to settle directly without.
Actually, the city had proposals for settlement all the way back to June of 2024, some of which went through their attorney at the time, and some didn't, but they never fully came to city council with what the dollar amount was, because the attorney held that from them.
So how exactly did you come to end up in this role as acting clerk?
I'm not really sure. I think the other two clerks that were temporary got fed up with not having the tools to do their job and the way the meetings are going. I have a little bit of a history in facilitating meetings in a more orderly fashion, and they don't wanna do it. One of them's right there. He'll tell you. It's his letter I read.
You felt this was an orderly fashion to it?
Absolutely not. Do you?
It's been worse.
You go to council meetings, do you? I don't think so either. But I do believe that after the last newspaper reporter was here, we sat here for almost 2 full hours with 2 city residents. I won't name them, but they're standing here watching you right now. And we had a very calm dialogue, back and forth meeting with very few interruptions. And when there were interruptions, everybody calmly apologized and went on about everybody getting to express their opinions and why people felt jaded or why people felt upset. He's charged by statute to keep an orderly meeting, and that means that the city, through the guidance of the city council, gets to choose what their policies and procedures are for running an orderly meeting.
Do you not think that some of the, maybe the chaos tonight would be lessened if people had, if they were able to speak formally?
I'd like to believe that, but we got to a point where, and this was mild compared to some of the meetings, even in front of law enforcement, and you're kind of putting the cart before the horse, because what happened first was the disruptions, to the point where you couldn't have a small town city hall meeting in a 3-hour time period because of all the disruptions. Because of the disruptions and the outbursts and the swearings and the name calling, which didn't generally come from this side of the table, public comment was suspended. The very meeting they were ready to unsuspend public comment after 90 days, somebody else hired the sheriff to come in and be here, and that sheriff ejected 2 members, one of them being the husband of the person that hired him for disorderly conduct under threat of arrest, and then a second party as well. And at that point, the council, and I wasn't on it, or a clerk, the council decided to not reenact public comment time. I sat at the end of that meeting, and I sat in what was going to be a work study meeting 2 weeks ago. I fully believe in the right of free speech. I think it's important to have public comment time. I've said that publicly here several times. But public comment time doesn't mean you get a free-for-all. It doesn't mean you get to call someone else's seeing eye lapdog and those types of derogatory comments. It doesn't mean you get to have interruptions. That's the purpose of a city council meeting, is to conduct the business of the city. Open forum or public comment is not a requirement by law, and there are several school boards and city councils that no longer allow it. This city's trying to get back to it. But again, that announcement was made at the beginning of the meeting. If everybody can just be calm and get through this, the council was prepared to make a motion at the next meeting to reenact public comment time. I personally hope it still happens, even despite of tonight. Seriously, because I do think it's important. But you don't get a free-for-all to act a darn fool just to blow up or spout off at any time that you want, especially if it's not germane to what's being discussed. That's not fair to anybody.
And are you still serving as consultant to the mayor?
No, I resigned October 10th as soon as they asked me to be the clerk. Which would probably be a little bit better known, but one of the council members walked out before everything got done. So that may not be publicly known. Thank you.
What is this ACH anyway?
I hate it, but those aren't my initials.
Nothing to do with the bill.
ACH is automatic draft out of your account. So it's routine, it's the same provider or vendor.
Electricity, gas,
After your
all that.
business card.
It's things that you're allowed to do as a consent agenda because there's so many. Some cities just go, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? And everybody goes yes, and they don't read them.
Okay, I was just wondering what ACH.
Cookies are better.
I didn't know whether to pour it on my hand or my mouth.
To put my,
By the way, when the reporter has all the back in the microphone right here, you want
budget deal,
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I won't.
that was an ACH.
Oh, okay.
Everybody has a.
Automatic withdrawal savings.
What? It must be legit.
We all get one.
Oh, nice.
We all get one.
Well, that was nice of her.
I agree with it. I agree with it. It's something that I hadn't thought of, somebody brought it up.
I have to ask my daughter all the time what abbreviations are. I'm like, what the hell?
Right, like the LOL and the BRB and oh my goodness, they text that stuff to me and I'm like,
I know.
can you say something? So I tell Chase, cause he's 14 now, so
Yeah.
mom's not cool anymore. I know, no, that makes you old, honey, you used to babysit him. Holy, but he'll write LOL, so I write back to him, I'm like, oh, I love you a lot too. That ended that.
So I didn't call you out, I didn't call you out, because you didn't know if you guys wanted to be identified that way. But I was surprised at that reporter didn't report on anything about us standing here trying to work things out. 2 hours. I'm like, come on, that's half a story.
I will give a prop to Pat though tonight. He was respectful, and I appreciate that.
Trying to get everybody to move on.
I'm in EMR.
I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to be yelled at.
Yeah, I don't-
Worried about getting yelled at for asking simple questions.
Ask her. I looked at her like, I wanna let you talk, but I don't know what everyone's gonna
Like
say.
7 times, and then he was like, hey, I was like, alright, alright.
But that's just it. We should, as long as everything is respectful, we do get to talk as long as things are
I can even
respectful.
handle some of the disrespect because I understand that emotions get going, but, you know,
But you can't.
There's no emotions when women are involved. What the hell are you talking about?
well, the 98% of this room's women.
There's no emotions involved when it comes to women.
Can
What
I
are
get
you
an
talking
amen?
about?
Amen.
Can I get an amen woman? Cause you gotta be equal, you know?
No, let me stay home and do nothing but cook and clean. Thank you.
Direct it for yourself.
Hey, he's helping
So,
out.
what do we do now, you guys, about the fact that Boley quit?
I always say you direct it for yourself.
Boley quit because of this. Boley quit because they were emailed the press release from Patty, and then she talked to them about Boley on camera, and then Boley, and then Boley called them and wanted to go all the way to Wilmer to their headquarters,
I want the whole.
and they hadn't even been here yet.
I want a big barrel of them.
I mean, they've been here for their main thing,
Containers of the actual cheese balls.
Yeah, a barrel of them.
So I don't know what needs to be fixed, but I do know the majority of it is on Miller Drive.
but that's our point. We don't know what needs to be fixed because we're not engineers.
Right.
And we know, even more so now since the 10th, that some of the stuff that we've been told has been wrong for so many years hasn't been touched. It's common sense that it's probably a little bit worse than it was when we were just told. And we don't know what all this, we don't, you know.
I know Miller Drive has a problem, and I don't
Take a long lunch.
know if other people have said this needs to be fixed or whatever. But I do know, and I think I said at the last meeting, that total problem is his problem, it's on his property.
I agree with you 100%.
And he's making
I agree
it
with you
where the city has to
100%,
pay for
but.
it. So that's another issue.
So, I agree with you 100% that he has some of his own problems done by his home and his property.
Yes.
But there are other houses that have and have
I didn't shut the
had
lights
the same
on.
results with the same problem.
Oh my God.
It can't be just him.
That dip
Question
never
is,
dries up.
are there ones that pile bad? Are there other ones that are going into storm sewer instead of
The
waste?
gravel road that goes around.
Yeah.
The question is, we don't know.
Well, and, you know, things were not done properly in 19 whatever either.
City clerks are open to the same day.
Really
Our
fix
sewer-
it, I don't think.
I'm not trying to argue or say anything about neither of us.
Ours was right up
But I can't take what's signed off on as an official meeting minute and just amend it. I don't have that authority.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, but you're saying you talked to the other city clerk. There's
They
things,
don't let you have a meeting.
there's things I didn't say tonight, but I'll just tell you, we sat here and read the email from the Minnesota City